So have you ever had one of those times where you come to the library looking for the newest Hunger Game book and it isn't in? Or maybe you want to read The Enemy because you heard it was awesome, or Lockdown because it sounds really scary, and you get there and it's checked out. Well, no fear. Don't worry. We have tons of hidden gems in the Lamar library that you could take home today. So here are a few examples of some hidden gems that you will enjoy just as much as the Hunger Games and just as much as the next new hot read. I recently read Wander by Rj Palacio, and I think it's one of those great books that every middle schooler should read. Augie Pullman is a normal kid, but he was born with a very deformed face. His eyes and his ears are lower than yours and mine, and sometimes when he goes to the park, well, other people kind of run away in fear. He has a face that, well, it just freaks people out sometimes. But Augie is a person like you and me. He's a normal guy with funny jokes, and he's sometimes bad at math. Reading the book from his point of view is interesting, but what I really loved about this book that made it so fresh are the sections where you get to read from other characters' points of views. So sometimes you get to read from Jack, like right after Jack betrays Augie, you get to read from Jack's point of view. You also get to read from Summer, who is a girl that Augie likes. So you should read Wander by Rj Palacio. It's a great read. Bluefish by Pat Smatz is similar to Wander in the loss and love of a middle schooler, except Travis is different from Wander. He's not deformed physically. Instead, he can't read, and so he is lost and lonely. He feels like a bluefish, stupid, angry, and alone. He's stuck with his grandfather in a new town, and he can't read, and he doesn't have any friends until he meets a girl named Velveeta. So a very good book. Pull at your heartstrings again. One of the best hidden gems in Lamar Library is The Unforgotten Coat by Frank Cottrell Boyce. This book is written in journal style, includes lots of Polaroids. A girl in London becomes a good guide for two immigrant Mongolian boys. She becomes really fascinated with them and their culture after getting this picture taken by them, and they start calling her their good guide. The best thing about this book is that it's written like a journal, and it looks like journal pages, and it shows all of these Polaroids taken by the Mongolian boys as the year progresses. And the girl becomes really fascinated with them and their culture, especially after she tells them that they feel like a demon is coming after his younger brother. It will keep you reading. This nomadic adventure will keep you reading until it is done. That's The Unforgotten Coat by Frank Cottrell Boyce. We've got some great hidden gems in our graphic novel section too. This is one of my favorites. It's called Level Up by Luen Yang. You might remember him from American Born Chinese. This book is hilarious because, for one, the cover looks like an old Nintendo Game Boy. But it chronicles a young Asian boy whose father wants him to become a doctor, but the kid just wants to grow up and play video games all day. But my favorite thing is when bad things happen in his life, he loses a man, like he loses a life. Like when you play video games. He also gains levels when his life changes and good things happen. So Level Up by, it's by Jean Luen Yang, but the art is by Tien Pham. It is a great positive book about growing up. Bake Sale by Sarah Varon is another great graphic novel hidden gem in our library. It is about a cupcake. Who bakes cupcakes? I know, kind of silly, but this cupcake is fascinated with a cook named Turkish Delight, and he starts baking and selling yummy treats all over the place just so he can go and to meet her. This cute graphic novel even offers tasty treats to boot. So Bake Sale by Sarah Varon will leave you with a smile and a hankering for cupcakes. The last hidden gem is actually a pretty new book in our library, but it is a nonfiction book about making things. Kids Made Modern by Todd Oldham has over 50 DIY projects you can make with simple things that you probably have in your home. You can make a mobile out of coat hangers with foam squares. You can make this hoodie with a potato masher. There's all kinds of really cool things that you can make. In fact, if you've been in our library, we made most of the projects on our Make Something display from this book. So it is a great book that you can take home and get started making things today. Maybe you can make something for the holidays for someone. You can even make this wonderful duct tape purse. I know how you're all in love with duct tape. So we've got tons of hidden gems in our library. If you're unsure what to read, just come ask me or Miss Kalami the next time you're having trouble finding the next big read. Hey guys, I'm back. I wanted to tell you about a couple more books that I just finished. One is called Liar and Spy by Rebecca Steed. This is a great book. It's a nice short book, but it's a good realistic fiction book with a little bit of mystery involved. But George, who has a silent S at the end of his name, is a 7th grader in middle school. He's just had to sell his house and move into an apartment, and he is really kind of not having a good time because his best friend has stopped hanging out with him because he started hanging out with the cool kids. He's getting made fun of all the time by this boy named Dallas. And he moves into this new apartment and meets a boy named Safer. I know, weird name. And Safer's little sister is Candy. And his older brother is Pigeon. So, it is a kind of funny, quirky little book. But it's kind of weird because Safer wants to be a spy club and he wants George to help him spy on the mysterious Mr. X. So it's a very good book, and it's also good for you guys because it's about a middle schooler going through tough times. Another book, which I thought is kind of totally off from everything else I've talked about in this book talk, except that this is a definite hidden gem. It's called Epic, and it's by Connor Kostick. It is a book about being in a video game. So I wanted to add this book because I know you guys, some of you love WoW. I don't know if you can see on the cover there, but these are elves and warriors. What do they call them? Trolls, things like that. They are all living through this book and trying to, take over through this game. It's a computer game, but it's a matter of life and death. And so I know those of you who liked Hunger Games and are kind of needing an adventure, you might like this book, Epic, by Connor Kostick. A very good book about playing video games. And I know how you are about video games. Sometimes you'd rather play them than read. So instead of playing a game, why don't you read a game? So that's just a couple books I wanted to tell you about before we were over today. So thank you for your time.